Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Laurie.
Good morning. Hi, Mark.
It's Tech Tuesday. I look so forward to Tech Tuesday.
Oh, man. I was so excited when I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
And realized it was Tuesday.
Couldn't wait to Facebook Live.
I'm excited about what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, me too. We're talking about strategic time management and, from a studio owner's perspective. Talk a little bit about that. Didn't you get to a point where okay, we've taken this business, 300% increase over 8 years?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you hit kind of a plateau and it's like, now what do we do?
Yeah, what do we do? And I mean, I just know from my experience, there was always Katrina and I always came up with really good ideas about where we wanted to go, but it got to the point where there just wasn't time enough in the schedule because it's just maintaining the daily activity at the studio was just so time consuming.
Right. Administrivia.
Exactly. Down from, making sure the bathroom is stocked with toilet paper to making sure that all accounts were paid up.
Right. All really important things when you're running a business of any kind, but especially a Pilates studio.
Yeah.
The experience is, just as important as, the workout and the training that they get.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we focused on over the last, 4 to 6 weeks is how do we buy back some of that administrative time? Mm-hmm. Because, you look at the budget and that there's 20 to 30 hours of staff time that is set aside, already being paid for this administrivia. Mm-hmm. And we're thinking, all right, so let's figure out ways to be more efficient with time, and then don't change the staffing hours, but instead get to the point where we can reorient some of those hours toward business building activities.
Building more business and, bringing in more money.
Right.
Yeah.
We talked about on Friday, the Friday check-in, if you saw that broadcast, the initiative that we're doing to network with local medical professionals to get them to refer clients. And that's the kind of thing that we're doing with the time that we've bought back. What we're going to share with you is what we've done with Google Calendar. And if you're a G Suite user, bravo, smart move. You guys moved to G Suite.
You moved me there.
And I moved you there.
I opened my browser and I was like,
what's this?
Cool.
G Suite is so awesome. And yes, obviously, if you know me at all, I'm a big Google fan. And so I just want to share a little bit with you about it, how far we've come. This is where it started when I came aboard to put some of these things in place. And the staff member, she's awesome, right?
She's the best.
The sparklification of the studio is what we call that task. And she did a brilliant job of getting all the tasks, right, that you need to do on a daily basis onto 5 sheets of paper, right? But here's the thing that I was frustrated by, doing it myself and observing others do it, is sometimes people would forget to check something off and another staff member goes to do it and then sees it's already done. You just lost that time. So,
and I know for me, my problem was I would go off and do things and I'd come back and I'd be like,
where was I?
Where was that one? Where was that one? So I know I was wasting a lot of time there.
Right.
And then on top of all that, hey, we're out of lists. We have to print more lists. Should we update the list? Blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of time on the front end just to make sure that the system was happening.
Yeah. Of course, all the challenges that you face with paper. Paper for many people, especially if you're over the age of, 45 or so, is the go-to habit. Laura was just talking about, you get in this loop of just doing things the way you've always done them, not realizing that you're losing time. So we solved all those problems by, taking an electronic approach to the whole thing. And we've got 2 task calendars, and I'm going to share the screen and bring it up for you. Let's bring up the account first. There we go. All right. So, oops. Let's try that again. Screen 1, there we go. All right, so what you're looking at here is the Studio Sparkle list, and we've got Office Management and Studio Sparkle. And so each day, whatever staff member this is their job, and we can tag team it throughout the day. This is actually today. Let's go to tomorrow. So nothing's been done because it's tomorrow. And you just basically check them off as you do them. And you don't have to run back to the computer, obviously.
This is the coolest part.
Because we've pressed into action an old iPhone, one that doesn't have a cell phone connection to it anymore. But you can put Google Tasks on it. So it's in staff's pocket, and it can be in everybody's phone if they want to put it on their phone, so that whenever they see a task that needs doing, they can mark it as done. So here's the one view, and it's very simple, right? You don't delete it because then it's not on the list. You just mark it as complete. And since this is tomorrow, I'm going to mark it as complete. If you're not familiar with Google Tasks, you were kind of excited by this, but at first it's like, how do I make it recurring?
Yeah, I was actually, when I got introduced to my Google Cal, I was creating the tasks in the calendar.
In events rather than the calendar.
Exactly. And I was like, Mark, I can't make it reoccurring. You're like, yes, you can. I'm like, I looked everywhere. I can't do it. Yes, you can.
All right.
And then Mark showed me where the task list actually is.
Right. So here's where she was. She was in the regular Google Cal where you set up these events on a weekly grid. And so we steered her toward the tasks calendar. And then if you put it in schedule view, you get this hierarchy. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, we don't put times on them because you never know when they're going to get done.
No, and I mean, I think everybody who owns a Pilates studio understands things come up. The phone rings, a client walks in the door, a teacher calls in sick. I mean, there's always things that pop up.
Right.
So, you know, we tag team it, and whoever gets to it checks it off, and then we know it's been done. Mm-hmm. No need to recreate the list every week because it's reoccurring.
It just keeps repeating. You know, one of the benefits that I got from the paper that the former staff member created was the frequency. Mm-hmm. She'd done it long enough to know how many times you needed to clean the mirrors in a week or in a month or whatever.
Right.
So each task is set up. And we use the weekly repeat, right? So you go in there and you choose week. And when you do that, you can choose the day or days. So let's say we wanted to do this every day. We simply click those on. And I think you're probably already getting it by watching that. Okay, so this task after a month, once a week was enough, mm-hmm. right? So why don't we add another day? So let's split. Let's make it Tuesday and Thursday. Mm-hmm. So it's automatically going to be on every Tuesday and Thursday mm-hmm. just for making that one simple change.
Yeah, just one click.
Yeah.
No need to update a document, print out new copies, run out of ink, call the ink guy, wait a day or two for the ink to arrive. Shoot, we're out of paper.
Oh, man.
Got to go to Target.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's that. Let me show you the view of the mobile device. If you're not a Google Task user, you won't have known about this or what it looks and feels like. So pardon the smashed screen on this baby.
I think everybody probably has one.
Everybody has one of these, yeah. So basically what we've done is we set it up so that there's 3 primary apps at the bottom, and our phone system is VoIP. We'll talk about that in another episode. But Tasks is the very first one. And when that comes up, it's the same exact tasks that are on the Google Calendar we were just showing you in the browser, obviously, because we're logged into the same account.
To click off.
Right. It's so easy to do on the mobile. Come on, it's a little slow in loading. Sorry about that.
We must be using
okay, here it comes. So each item is right there, just like you saw in the browser. And if this is in your pocket, and your studio is laid out different than ours, we've got what, 4,000 square feet?
Yeah,
ish.
just about, yeah. And
but like a good 2,000 square feet is in the basement.
Yeah, it's very spread out in different areas.
Right. So when you go down there, you want to make sure you have this with you, or we want to make sure our staff has it with them, so they don't have to keep running back to see what they got to do for the day. So it's all right there. And you just basically scroll your way through and you mark the ones that are done, and boom, you get on with your day. So let's talk a little bit about the time that we recovered.
Oh, yes. So
this was a 20-hour-a-week job.
I would bet even a little bit more.
And what was the quality that former staff members, in terms of the quality of their life and their experience, what was that like?
If I know, well, I used to do this job, and then the woman who was here before me, or after me, it was like just like running in a hamster wheel, just constantly, like
kind of crazy making.
It was crazy making. Yeah, absolutely crazy making. And it just felt like it was going on all day, every day, rinse and repeat, in not a good way.
I like the hamster wheel reference.
Yeah, it was,
So it's a big deal. And so we take those 20 plus hours, and after with 6 weeks or so.
Yeah, you've narrowed it down to 90 minutes a morning.
90 minutes a morning if the staff person, right now I'm doing it just to really dial it in. But that's the beauty of this, is 20 hours, now 90 minutes. That's 8.5 hours, 5 days, for 5 days-ish. So what are we going to do with that time?
Well, we are going to grow the business. We're going to start, building those referral relationships. And that's kind of our big project.
12 hours a week. Think about that. So that's what, 12 divided by 5 is 2 point something. So now imagine those 2 point something hours per day being applied to things that bring in more leads. That's one way to build a business.
Right.
Another way to build a business is to retain your clients. So we can put those timing into creating
more customer engagement,
more in studio games,
and more time to, be on the phone or helping teachers with their admin tasks like scheduling and taking payments and whatnot.
Right.
I mean, it's just a win all over the place. And you've also found that the being able to clump it all together at the very beginning of the day has been helpful, even though you can't get to everything. And sometimes, later on in the day, you're still working a little bit on the list.
Right.
But by trying to get in here before the studio opens, it's a huge time saver.
I was up early this morning. We're 15 minutes away from the studio, and I got up at 5. I'm like, what am I going to do? I could have gone up in the attic and done a workout. I'll do that later. But instead, I jumped in the car, grabbed a cup of coffee, went to the studio, and because there was nobody there, I banged out yesterday's list, which it didn't get much attention. Sometimes that happens. That's what we love about the system, is you can look back and there's an accountability mechanism here. How's the staff doing? And if somebody just comes in and pretends to do it and marks them off, our quality of standard is clearly compromised, so they don't get away with it. Not that we have any staff that would do that.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose. So I banged it out in less than 90 minutes. It was probably 84 minutes.
You're on fire.
Yeah. One more little tip, and I learned this on the way. So I bought back time by having it in my hand. And the next thing that I did is whenever something involves Sanitize, and let me share the screen again. Whenever something involved sanitizing, we were using mixed language, wipe down the reformers. Wipe down all the apparatus. Clean off the kitchen counter. Wipe down the yoga balls, the Bosus, whatever. So I thought, okay, every time the staff does that, they have a rag and a bottle of spray cleaner in their hand. We use Thieves, which is all natural. So I thought, why not name everything that involves that with the word sanitize? So now when I pick up the spray bottle and the rag, I don't put it down until everything that has the word sanitize up front has been checked off. That took another 25% because it wasn't doing, the checking and the looking out. Yeah, sure, it wasn't running back and reading the paper.
Right. Or, wiping down the apparatus, getting involved with something else, and having to go get where did I put the spray bottle?
Where did I put that car bottle?
Oh, it's in my hand.
So maybe the next thing we'll do to solve that problem, because, really everything's a problem to be solved. And we think of studio management as a game.
Oh yeah.
Why don't we get those little discs that you stick on a machine, and if you lose your keys, you push a button on your phone and it shows you where your spray bottle is.
I don't know. I'm thinking more like a tool belt.
That's probably a good idea. A little holster.
Yeah. I don't know. That might be kind of embarrassing.
All right. Well, I hope you guys found value in that. Whether you're watching live or watching on a replay, we'd love to hear how you're systematizing your studio. Any ideas that you have that we can share? Or challenges, yeah.
I mean, I almost like hearing the challenges more because I like to start brainstorming how we can make it better and have you save 25% every day on your time.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
And if you want to come on live, we'll provide a link that you can actually be in the webinar with us. You can watch live on Facebook anytime you want, and you can put stuff in the chat. But if you want to come on live, we'll have you on, and we'll brainstorm your challenge or celebrate your victory, whichever the case may be.
Yeah, and I mean, sharing ideas with everybody is what it's all about. So
cool. That's all I got for you. Got anything else?
No, that's about all. Well, if we could backtrack for 1 second,
Sure.
There's one more thing about the list that I found handy was when one of our teachers this week asked, is this getting done?
Oh,
Yes, because it's right there. Yeah. So
talk about that a little bit more, because we have had some drama.
right. So it's not really knowing who's doing what, or if something's getting done, are things being looked over. I think, everybody wants the studio to be running perfectly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, who doesn't? But
yeah, the knee-jerk reaction. If the staff doesn't know that there's a system in place, then when they see something out of place, they immediately take action and they try to correct us because they don't know there's a process. Right. Well, the negative side of that is multifold, but one of them is every time they bring something up, they think they're the ones responsible for saving that.
Right, exactly. And with this process in place, it's just, we don't have to even spend time conversing about it.
Right.
If somebody's worried that like,
you don't need to be the task force.
I hope XYZ is getting done, they can simply just click on the Google Calendar and be like, oh yeah, that's on the schedule for Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Or grab the mobile and see who did what when.
Yep, exactly. So
thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, that's been helpful too. And that's all I got.
That's all I got too. Thanks for joining us on Tech Tuesday. Have a great week. Decide one process you want to improve, buy back some time, and put that time toward building your business.
Simple or as complicated as it is.
Yeah. Have a great day. We'll see you on Friday for the Friday wrap up.
Weekly wrap.
Weekly wrap up. Sorry about that. See, we're just getting started.
The Friday weekly wrap up. Bye, everyone.
Take care.